Alright, so Facebook ads is really hard to learn and it can be a super frustrating process where you might end up losing a lot of money. So because of that, I decided to make a full breakdown in one video, which is probably going to be 40 to 50 minutes, teaching you everything you need to know about the platform, how to test products, how to scale, how to get high quality content, how to beat your competitors, how to break through in a saturated market, and just a bunch of things. I've been advertising on Facebook for 5 years now, and it's been nothing but life-changing. So in today's video, I've summarized everything I need to know into one blueprint on how to run Facebook ads in 2022. This is the only guide you'll ever need on running Facebook ads for dropshipping, so there's no need for you to buy a course after this video. I'm not looking to sell you a course or anything. This is literally all you need, so don't go ahead and pay for a course. What's going on, everyone? I'm Henrik, and in today's video, I'm giving you a 2022 updated Facebook ad strategy for beginners and advanced dropshippers that you can implement on your store right now to start making money fast. If you have any questions or you want to get into my mentorship program, you can message me on Instagram here. I've created a long PowerPoint going over everything you need to know about Facebook ads for dropshipping, so don't click off this video. Bring your notepad because the information I'm about to give you is going to be life-changing if applied properly. This is the type of information that you would find in a $5,000 course, and I'm going to give you all of it for free. So let's get into it. Welcome to my complete Facebook ad tutorial for dropshipping in 2022. As I said in the beginning of this video, this is going to be all you need to run a dropshipping store profitably and scale your business to $10,000 a day, $100,000 a month, or whatever you want to, because this strategy truly works. So what are we going to go over in this mini course? Well, there's a bunch of things. The first thing we're going to go over is what types of products you should run on Facebook, and also how to do product research or market research when looking for a profitable product to run on Facebook, because Facebook products are different. They're not going to be like every other product, and they're most certainly not similar to TikTok products. So if you're a dropshipper that comes from TikTok over to Facebook because you want more long-term consistent success in your business, you're definitely making the right move, but you might have to rewire your product research brain. The next thing we're going to go over is Facebook ad creatives, videos and photos or content for your Facebook ads. And I'm also going to show you examples on how your Facebook ads should look to get the ideal click-through rate. Because when you run Facebook ads, you want to optimize for around a 10% click-through rate, which is fairly high. But if you implement the strategy in today's video, you're definitely going to be able to make it. I'm also going to go over how to test products and how to analyze a test so that you know when to kill or when to scale a campaign. And I'm sure you want to know how to scale, so obviously I got you on that. I'm going to teach you everything about scaling Facebook ads to the next level. I'm also going to teach you how the Facebook platform works, how to bid on Facebook, how your ads are going to perform in different scenarios. I'm also going to teach you how to break through on Facebook and how to capture your own audience in a saturated market, because when you're running Facebook ads in 2022, you don't really want to compete with a big interest. You'd rather find your own type of audience, so I obviously got you on that as well. And then lastly, one of the most important things about Facebook ads, how to not get banned. Obviously, it would not be a Facebook ad tutorial without me teaching you how to avoid bans. So in today's guide, I'm also going to teach you how to not get banned on Facebook, or how to prevent the ban, and also what you're going to do in case you get banned, and way more. Don't click off, because this is going to be the most valuable video you ever watched on advertising for dropshipping. You will not need another Facebook ad guide. This is all the information you need to scale your business to $100,000 a month, if not even more. Now, before you start running Facebook ads, there's a couple of things you need to know about the platform. The first thing you're going to need when running Facebook ads is a budget. Facebook ads is not free to run, but you don't have to have the highest budget if you follow one of the strategies that I'm about to reveal in today's video. You should also set aside some money for experience, just to trial and error, learning how the platform works, and maybe even making some failures. So for that, I do recommend you to set aside $300 to $500 that you don't really care too much about, just to get the experience and get the ball rolling and make your first couple of sales. And before you start running Facebook ads, you should know the platform, but because you're watching this video, that's not really going to apply to you, because after watching this, you're probably going to be like a Facebook ad expert. The product and creative is everything when running Facebook ads. On Facebook, you can't really just force a random product to work unless you have a huge budget. So in my opinion, learning product research and also learning how to fit a good video ad with the product and taking a good marketing angle towards the product is definitely something you need to learn when running Facebook ads, because you can't go out there and just run any type of product to a random interest and hope for success. The Facebook ad platform is heavily focused around skill. If you have the skill, you will be able to make a ton of money on Facebook ads, but if you don't have the skill, it's going to be really hard for you. So therefore, I'm quickly going to show you how a Facebook product looks so that you get the product research part right. But this is not a product research guide, but after watching this, you could check out one of my product research guides as well. But make sure that you know a little bit about Facebook product research, because the products on Facebook are different. They're often problem solving and have a good margin, but I'm going to go more in depth on Facebook product research on the next slide. Also know that getting banned from the Facebook Ads Manager is super common, so don't make the mistakes that I'm about to cover in this video. And for your own sake, watch the whole guide, because you're not going to regret it. Chapter 1 in this course is about product research for Facebook ads. The main types of products you want to run on Facebook are problem-solving products that has around a $20 to $25 profit margin, because when starting out on Facebook, you're probably going to have anywhere from a $5 to a $20 cost per purchase. So in order to cover up for ad expenses, it's super important that you have a product that has a $20 to $25 profit margin, just so that you become profitable, because there's no point running a business if it's not profitable. You also want to be running broad products that has a broad market, because on Facebook you'll find advertisers that are spending millions of dollars every single month to advertise products into a niche. So if your product isn't broad, it's going to be really hard for you to compete in a small niche when advertisers are coming with huge budgets just to beat you inside of that niche. So because of that, I like to go with broad products so that there's room for new people and that you can capture your own audience inside of the broad category. You also want to get on a trend early, because when you're advertising on Facebook, you don't really want to be a pioneer and find a brand new product that the market has never seen before. If you're not an expert at product research, it's way better to go by the market and what's currently trending rather than finding a new trend yourself. So that's a quick little rundown on the types of products you want to be running on Facebook. As I said, I have more guides on product research, but let's jump to the next slide, which is about creatives for Facebook ads. And after that, we'll get into the actual strategy. The second chapter is about creatives and how to match the platform, because on Facebook, you can't just use any type of creative if it doesn't fit the platform. Just like if you were to run TikTok ads, you would need native content to fit in the algorithm. And the same thing applies to Facebook. So let me show you one good video ad. I just found an ad for something called a puppy pad, which is some sort of blanket for a pet, I'm pretty sure. And as you can see, it clearly fits the presentation. The first thing it does is it addresses the problem, as you can see right here, and then it shows the solution. So the solution is the leak-proof pad, or whatever you want to call it. And it also shows how to handle it. But the main point here is that it shows the problem and then the solution, and then it shows how your life could be after finding the solution. So this is a great ad in my opinion. And then in the end, it also has testimonials, which I think is super important when running ads on Facebook in 2022. Because right now, everything is about trust. And if the customer can't trust you, you probably won't have any chance of converting them. And lastly, some sort of urgency. As you can see, it says 50% off limited offer ending today. So that's the urgency part as well. The first 5 seconds of your video ad is everything. The average view duration for a Facebook ad is around 3 to 7 seconds. So if the first 5 seconds of your video ad isn't attention grabbing, the customer is not going to click in on your website and you want to have a good CTR. And when running Facebook ads, an ideal CTR with a good product and a video ad is going to be around 10%. So if you don't have a video ad that's on top, you're probably not going to stand a chance on Facebook, because people are just not going to click through. So there's 5 things a video ad should have. And the ad we just looked at nailed all of these. The first thing you want to do in your ad is to address the problem or show the product being used. After you show the product being used and all the functions of it, you want to have some testimonials just to create safety. Then after that, you want to show how someone's life can be after using the product, and to end it off, you want to put in some sort of urgency, such as 50% off for limited time only or 50% off ending soon. Chapter 3 is about starting Facebook advertising, and this is probably why you clicked in on this video to begin with. So hopefully you click a like here and subscribe to my channel. But how do you start Facebook ads? In my opinion, you should have a budget of $70 a day when starting ads. This doesn't mean that you're going to spend $70 every single day. It only means that you're going to spend $70 a day when you're actually testing a product. You can target worldwide or top 5, but in my opinion, you'll get way cheaper clicks to the US targeting worldwide. But just make sure that you exclude a list of countries if you're going worldwide. You can find this list anywhere, but I'm going to go ahead and put my list in the description so you can just copy that when you run your next Facebook campaign. I also want you to target all genders unless it's a gender specific product, because Facebook is going to optimize. That's why I also say go broad. In 2022, Facebook optimizes everything for you. So there's no point really narrowing down your audience or going super niche anymore, because if you run an ad for $10 a day, Facebook is going to figure out who insides of that audience you are targeting is likely to buy the product. That means that if you target Netflix, for example, which is an interest of the size of, let's say, 1 billion, Facebook is going to find 1 million out of the 1 billion that's most qualified to buy from you. So trust Facebook and realize that they're going to optimize everything for you. You also want to go with all placements, and you want to have 2 to 4 creatives under your ad set. This means you could have, for example, 2 videos and 2 photos, or 1 video and 2 photos. Just make sure that you never rely on only one piece of content, because every once in a while I run a campaign where the photo ad does way better than the video ad and actually carries all the sales. And if I didn't test with a photo, I would not have made those sales. So make sure that you put in a couple of extra ads under it. I think you should not do more than 4 though, because you're only spending $10 a day, so there's no point doing more than 4. But let me quickly show you how I test products. Okay, so we're inside of an ads manager. This is not an ads manager I really use. It's just an example ads manager for this video. But what you want to do is you want to go ahead and create a campaign. You want to go by conversions. I already covered this in the testing section, so I'm just going to quickly go through it. But you want to hit conversions. Then you can just go ahead and skip to the ad set after you name the campaign. The next thing you want to do is you want to switch to conversion events to purchase, because there's no point optimizing for anything else than purchase, because because I would guess that sales and money is kind of like what you want when you are advertising. So you go website, you put in purchase right here, then you scroll to the budget and you can put that at $10 a day. I think that's reasonable. You want to do 7 ad sets at $10 a day. Then you can schedule it to maybe midnight, but scheduling doesn't really matter. What actually matters when the YouTubers talk about scheduling or that you have to schedule the ad at 12 a.m. That's not correct. It's more so about the fact that you can only make changes once a day. So when I'm scaling a product, I'm not going to go ahead and make changes multiple times every single day. So that is why it's good to stick to a schedule, just to make changes at the same time every day. So here you would just type in worldwide and then exclude the list of countries. I'm not going to do that right now, but it should be super simple. And then you scroll down to the placements here where you want to keep automatic, and then you're going to do the interest. So let's just say we're doing a product that fits Netflix, for example, or just a product that has to do with popcorn. What we can do is we can search for example, comedy movies. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the name comedy movies, which is the interest, name the ad set comedy movies, and then publish. Because if I name the ad set the name of the interest, it's going to be way easier for me to keep track of what's actually selling. Here you just want to select your page, and then you can scroll down here and add media, upload your video, and have a primary text with some sort of a catchy line, such as walk your dog with peace, LED dog walker. I don't know. You'll make up something way better than that, but it's just an example, right? And then you scroll down here, you remove the chat with us, then you click learn more and switch that to shop now. Then you put the link to your product page and you're now tested a product. So this is how it's supposed to look once you tested a product. Not talking about the sales, but you want to have 7 ad sets. As you can see, this campaign has 10, but that's just because I tried to scale it a little bit. We can jump into this campaign instead. It had 7 ad sets, but something is just weird there. You want to have 7 ad sets running at $10 a day, and then you're just going to test that for 24 hours and see how it works. The interest you choose is going to make or break your business. So let's just say that I run hair salon for a product and it generates 3 sales. If I didn't use hair salon for that product, I probably wouldn't have made those 3 sales. So the interest you choose are super important. You want to make sure that you have your interest game on point, and also that you think kind of outside the box when looking to find a good interest. You want to go broad and untapped, because doing niche interest is just going to lead you to a competitive market. Say you're targeting an interest with the size of 1 to 2 million. If another advertiser is inside of that audience for the same type of product or the same niche, spending thousands of dollars a day, you're not going to stand a chance beating him. So in my opinion, I like to go for those broad niches and then kind of find my own audience inside of that broad niche. You also want to have 1 interest in each ad set, and you want to run 7 to 10 ad sets when testing. I like to do 7 ad sets when testing a product, but if I really like the product and I really believe in it, I might go ahead and run 10 ad sets just to give it an extra chance. So my interest selection strategy is really simple. I like to do 3 to 4 interests that's super related to what you're selling. That means that if you're selling a mirror, I would probably target mirror. Or if you're selling a football product, you could target football. Then I like to do 2 interests that's kind of related, where I'll be thinking outside the box. So I'll be thinking about things such as who is likely to buy this product? What are they interested in? What are they consuming? What do they work with? What do they do after work? Do they watch comedy movies? What types of movies are they interested in? These are a bunch of things that go through my mind when looking for an alternative interest. So that could be you targeting your products towards mothers. So if you target mother and parents, all those basic interests, you can later on toss in a cartoon for kids, for example, which is not related to what you're selling, but it's still in the same niche. So that would be kind of you thinking outside the box. And then I like to do 1 interest that's just completely random. And for me, that happens to be Netflix or YouTube or family, but always make sure to toss in 1 random interest, because for some weird reason, and I actually don't know why, that interest is very often your best interest. You would be surprised as to how many times I've scaled the weirdest interest that just doesn't fit the product in any way and is completely random to the biggest level. So make sure that you always put in a random interest, because they just happen to work for some reason. And if you believe that, you got to make sure to click a like on the video and subscribe, because you don't want to miss out the content I'm posting on this channel. And repeating myself one more time, I just wanted to say trust Facebook. In 2022, they optimize everything for you. That's why there's no point changing the ages from 18 to 30 instead of just keeping 18 to 65. Because if your shoppers are 50 to 65 years old, Facebook is going to stop spending money on 18 to 30 year olds. So they're kind of going to narrow it for you. This part is really interesting. How do you analyze a test and what do you look for? In my opinion, there's around 4 different scenarios when testing a product. The first scenario is that you get 0 sales after running the product for 24 hours or spending around $70. If that's the case, I would just cut the product and move on. I wouldn't try to improve the metrics or anything, because 0 sales in 24 hours is just not going to do it. The second scenario is that you get 1 sale within the first 24 hours. Here I have 2 options. I'm either going to run the product for another 12 hours to see if it's going to generate more sales, or I'm just going to cut it. You can choose that yourself and maybe base it around checkouts and add to carts as well. The third scenario is that you get 2 to 3 sales your first 24 to 30 hours. If you do that, you want to keep the ads running and you want to add a new ad set / interest every single day, and you want to delete 2 ad sets. So what you're basically doing now is you're milking ad sets to fit the criteria, which I'm going to reveal on one of the next slides, but you're basically milking the ad set to fit the criteria of scaling. And the fourth scenario, which you really want, and that is the reason to why you want to milk the third scenario where you have 2 to 3 sales, because you want 3 sales in 1 ad set. And if you have an ad set that has 2 sales and you think it's going to be able to push 3 maybe over overnight, then I do suggest you to just leave it running another day. Everyone has a different scaling strategy, but if you follow mine, you want to have 3 sales in one ad set, and if you have that, you'll be able to scale. And the faster you get 3 sales in one ad set, the more likely you are to be successful when scaling. This is a question I get every single day. Traffic but no sales. What could it be? And I'm just going to quickly run through this, as it's not really a part of the Facebook strategy, but there's a couple of reasons to why I get traffic with no sales. And the first one is free shipping. If you're not offering free shipping worldwide, you're not going to make sales. And since Shopify have 2 shipping zones, a bunch of stores are offering free shipping only to their own country without realizing. And if that's you, make sure to go into your shipping settings and change it. Also, make sure that you have a guarantee for your store just to create the safety. People are not going to use your 30-day money-back guarantee in most cases, but just having that 30-day money-back guarantee out there on your page is going to create a bunch of safety. And safety is everything when dropshipping in 2022. You have to remember that you're targeting a cold audience who doesn't know you in any way, so you got to make sure that there's some sort of safety on your site. And you create safety by having testimonials or reviews. Another reason to why you could be getting traffic but no sales could be that the pricing is just off. You're selling a product for more than it's actually worth, or you just don't have the right offer. It's super important that the product page relates to the problem and that it's actually similar to what you're talking about on Facebook. Because if you're selling a multifunctional product on Facebook and it says that it removes acne, and then the customer comes into your description and now you say that it removes blackheads or that it helps with aging, you're kind of missing out. So make sure that the product description fits your marketing angle. You want to make sure that you have a good product that fits Facebook as well. And I also think that you should study copywriting. I have 2 students inside of my mentorship who crushes it with a conversion rate because they've been reading multiple books on copywriting. I'm not saying you have to read books on copywriting to succeed with dropshipping, but they really know what they're talking about when it comes to copywriting just because they've been reading a bunch of books on it, and they're now making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. The next chapter is about scaling, and this is probably the most interesting part of the video. But before we talk about scaling, there are a couple of things you need to know. Don't scale without some sort of cash flow or a way to get money. If you only have $200 left to your name, you should not be scaling products on Facebook. You should rather ask a friend to maybe give you $500 or just wait or reinvest money from your job. But when scaling though, you don't really want to wait, so make sure that you kind of have some way to get your hands on maybe $500 just to scale, and eventually you're going to get paid out from your payment providers, and then you can go ahead and reinvest that money. If you live in the US, it's way easier for you because you'll have Stripe one-day payout, so you're not really going to have too much of a problem with cash flow when reinvesting. The next thing that is super important is that you figure out shipping before scaling. Ideally, you want to have 7 to 14 days shipping. A little bit longer can also do it, but I recommend you to have 7 to 14 days. I know that people like me when I was 16-year-old are just going to ignore this because they get too excited, but you need to listen to me. I'm talking from experience. Don't scale before shipping is figured out, or you will just be out of business and payment providers are going to shut you down. So don't feel that it's so urgent, because that's what I used to do, and I just run out of business so many times, and it was a super big headache just because I really wanted to scale and, not miss out on the opportunity to change my life. The third mistake, which actually took me 2 years to learn, is to make sure that supplier has inventory. The past couple of years, there's been so many times when I've sold the supplier out of stock. I don't do that anymore, but just make sure that the supplier actually has inventory, because the worst thing that can happen is that you start selling a bunch of products and you don't have inventory for it, because then you're going to go ahead and refund all the customers and you might just go in a loss. So how do you scale? The $1 million blueprint. I'm going to show you some live scaling after this slide as well, just so you get the point even better. To start scaling, you want to have one ad set, if not even more, that has 3 sales or more. And if you have that, you could start approaching it in 3 different ways. The first way to start scaling is by duplicating your ad set and increasing the budget from $10 a day to $25. This is vertical scaling. The second way to start scaling, and I like to do it in this lineup. You first do the 25, then you do this, and then you do that. But the second way of doing it is to duplicate the ad set and split test the expand detailed targeting button. And some of you are not going to have the detailed targeting button because it seems like it's getting removed. But if you have it, make sure to always split test it, because it can make or break your business. The third way to scale is by duplicating the ad set and straight up just copying it. So what I mean by that is that you're making no changes to your ad at all. This allows your ad set to re-optimize and find new segments of the audience. So if you're targeting, for example, family for a product and you made 3 sales, the ad set is starting to optimize in a certain direction inside of the interest. So what you can do is you can go ahead and duplicate it and just straight up copy it without any changes to let the ad set kind of re-optimize again and maybe find a better audience inside of your interest. Keep the cycle going. So every time you get a new ad set up to 3 sales, you want to go ahead and duplicate it and make all these changes as well. But when running ads, always duplicate. You never want to edit anything because you can mess up the whole optimization. But when you duplicate, there's not really any big risk. So always make sure to do that. And you also want to keep adding 1 to 2 new interests every single day so that you're consistently getting new ad sets up to 3 sales so you can repeat the cycle. Your product is going to die out fast if you don't find new audiences for it. In this phase, you're basically just milking ad sets until they fit the CBO criteria. And the CBO part is where you really will be making the money. But before before that, you just want to be milking your ad sets until they fit the criteria that I'm about to reveal in a second. High return scaling is where all the money is made. In just 1 minute, I'm about to show you on my screen how to scale, but before that, let's go over high return scaling. This is a stage where you'll be able to see $2,000 to $10,000 a day on your Shopify store, if not even more, if you have the right product. So what you want to do to get ready for high return scaling is that you want to milk your ad sets up to 7 sales each. So in order to do high return scaling, you want to have 3 to 5 ad sets that has 7 sales each in order to actually start scaling it aggressively. So it's going to be a phase where you kind of are just stuck in waiting for multiple ad sets to reach 7 sales or more. But once you fit the criteria of 7 sales in 3 to 5 ad sets, you're going to go ahead and duplicate your 3 to 5 best ad sets into a new campaign, which is going to be a CBO campaign. And you want to budget your CBO with $50 per ad set. That means that if you have 3 ad sets, you're doing $50 times 3 ad sets, which is $150. And also if you have 5 ad sets, you're doing $50 times 5 to get a $250 daily budget for your CBO. Each ad equals $50. This doesn't mean that your CBO is going to spend $50 on each ad set. It's going to spend money where it likes to spend money, but this is just a good general rule that actually works. Scaling in depth. This is a really interesting part of the video. A CBO will typically take 16 to 24 hours to start picking up, so you might be in a situation where you spend around $100 without getting any sales, but once you reach, for example, the $110th, it just explodes and you start making 5 sales an hour. CBOs really have an explosion effect, so they can be super slow for the first 12 hours, but once you reach the 13th or 14th hour, they're just going to go insane and you're just going to be printing money. So when launching a CBO, make sure that you're a little bit patient and that you actually understand the fact that they might need some time to start working, but once they're working, they're going to make you a lot of money. CBOs work vertical in my opinion. So what you want to do is if you have a profitable CBO with around a 2 to 3 to 4, the higher ROAS the better, but a 2 to 3 to 4 ROAS, after 3 to 7 days, you want to go ahead and take the risk of just duplicating your CBO and doubling the budget. So if I have a CBO running at $250 a day, I'm actually going to duplicate it and put it to $500 a day. These are really expensive changes, and I understand that it might feel super uncomfortable to spend this amount of money, but this is just a risk you have to take. And when talking about CBOs, it's usually very safe to do this if you fit the criteria, which is 7 sales in 3 to 5 ad sets. I rarely see a CBO fail unless it's like multiple of the same interest inside of it. So I wouldn't be worried spending $200 a day on CBOs. Obviously, there will never be a guarantee, but it should be really safe to start CBO scaling. And at this stage, you still want to keep getting $10 ad set to 3 sales so that you can make the 25 duplicate, the expand detail targeting, or the straight up copy. Always milk new interest up to 3 sales to keep the cycle going. So what you want to do is to repeat the cycle. This is why making money with dropshipping isn't really that hard. This is all you really have to do to make a ton of money. Repeat the cycle. 3 sales, duplicate it 25, then get new interest to 3 sales again to duplicate it 25. Then you're going to milk your ad set until you have 7 sales in 3 to 5 ad sets. And what you do after that is you duplicate your best performing ad sets into a new CBO. Scaling is all about just repeating this cycle and just following this strategy only without any more information. You will be able to make $10,000 a day, if not even more. But it's super important though that you have a good product that fits Facebook. We're now in the perfect ads manager to show you an example on exactly how to scale your Shopify store in 2022. So let me go ahead and actually showcase the things we just talked about. As you can see, this campaign has spent £30,000 to generate over £92,000, which is actually more than $100,000, I'm pretty sure. But let's get into it because I'm about to show you exactly how to scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort it by results first of all. And now we're going to find ad set that fits the criteria. So here we have an ad set that's sitting at 5 sales. And if it has 3 sales or more, we're going to duplicate and make the changes. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, it's sitting at $10 a day. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the ad set. And once the ad set is duplicated, I'm just going to scroll down to the budget, put the budget to $25 a day and publish it. Here you're able to see the power of just $25 duplicates. So this interest right here is spending $25 a day and it spent £1,000 to generate £3,600. As I said, pounds is worth a little bit more than the US dollar. So you can honestly just pretend that it's US dollars. Here you can see that Kitchen is sitting at £10 a day. And since it's in pounds, I've scaled with a little bit of a different budget, but Kitchen is sitting at £10 a day. So once that ad set hits 3 sales, I actually went ahead and duplicated Kitchen from 10 to 20, which would be the same as 10 to 25 in dollars. And then the ad set just started taking off. It's sitting at 3.8 ROAS and it spent $970 to generate 3.7K. So now back to the criteria. You're consistently adding new ad sets every single day. You're putting new ad sets up to $25 a day. You're finding new interest every single day and you're split testing the expand detail targeting button. And you're also making straight up copies just like I talked about. You're now going to milk ad sets and you want to have 3 to 5 ad sets at 7 sales more each as we talked about. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to find some ad sets that fits the criteria. So this could be your case. You have 4 ad sets here and they all have 7 sales or more each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and check all 4 of them. So that's 4 ad sets. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the big duplicate button up here and I'm going to duplicate into a new campaign because we're going to do CBO. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call it CBO and then the product name and then I'll go ahead and duplicate into a new campaign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the actual campaign here and then turn on CBO. As we talked about, each ad set inside of a CBO equals $50. So because there's 4 ad sets inside of this CBO, I'm actually going to do 50 times 4, which is $200 or pounds a day. And then I'm going to go ahead and publish that CBO and just wait and see how it's actually going to perform. When you're looking to find new audiences, I think it's super important to go based off of what's been working for you. So what I can do is I can duplicate the kitchen interest over here, and then I can scroll down here to find similar interests. So if kitchen worked, it's really likely that cooking or kitchenware or maybe even recipes is going to work for my product. So I'm modeling success. I'm going based off of what's been working for me in the past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, let's say, cooking, because it's pretty similar to kitchen. Then I'm going to name the ad set cooking. So I'll go up here. Then I'm going to name the ad set cooking, and I'm going to publish it and just test it for $10 a day to see how it performs. Now, this is a section you don't want to click off of. Keeping the product alive. I'm going to reveal to you why so many people just get thrown back to scratch and have to restart their whole process. Weekly creative testing is needed. You want to make sure that you introduce new videos and photo ads for your products every single week. So what you can do is you can duplicate your 3 to 5 best performing ad sets into a new campaign, run them for like $20 a day, and put like 5 videos and 5 photos under it just to figure out what your best video is and what your best photo is. And then you can go ahead and bring your best video back into your current campaign. I'm going to reveal 3 reasons for ad fatigue. The first and most common reason to ad fatigue is that your audience gets used up. This is why it's so important to find new interests, new types of ad sets every single day, or maybe running, for example, lookalike audiences at some point. Because if you don't try to find new audiences almost daily, you're going to be out of business after some time because your audience is going to get used up. The second one is creative fatigue, and this is really common. So because of that, you want to do what I just said. Make sure you get new videos and photos almost every single week to keep the product alive. The third reason, which is actually really common, is that the product is slowing down in the country you're selling to. So if I'm running a product to, for example, Australia, after like 2 to 3 months, the sales are going to start slowing down, and I might have to need to find a new product for that country, or I might have to branch out to other countries that hasn't seen it before, because after some time the market is going to get a little bit used up because there's only so many people inside of that country that's interested in babies or dogs or whatever types of product you're running. But if you combine all these 3, new interests, new creatives, and sometimes even new countries, you're not really going to run out of business and you're not going to experience big fatigue. All right, so when you're in the scaling phase, you want to find multiple ways to increase your average order value, which ultimately increases your profit margin drastically. You want to install upsells to increase your average order value, and there's a bunch of different types of upsells, such as having another product to sell, bundling your product, having a skip the line priority button on your page for maybe $3, and even offering express shipping. These are all a bunch of great ways for you to increase your average order value and just make a couple of extra dollars profit on every single purchase, which is going to add up and change your game entirely. When you're going to install upsells, I definitely recommend you to use the app Vanga. It's for sure the best upsell app out there. Here's the Vanga upsell app, and it solves problems such as low ROAS, low average order value, low profits, or revenue in general. So what you can do right now is you can pause here to read the problems it solves, because in a second I'm going to head over to the App Store and actually show you what this app is all about. So here's the app, and there's no manual effort required, and you can get started with one click. The reason I love Vanga is because the upsell is after the actual purchase, so there's no risk having the upsell installed on your store. It's not going to distract the customer, but it's always going to give you that opportunity to make a ton of extra profits after every single sale. And you can actually enable upsells on all the products on your stores, not just like a few products, which you can with other upsell apps. So that's why I really like this app, and it's going to help you skyrocket your average order value on autopilot, which also means that it's going to produce you a ton of profits every single month. So if you're looking for basically free money, you got to install Vanga. This is for the serious dropshippers out there who genuinely just wants to change their game. You can even monitor your visitors with history to see which product has been working the best for upsells. And Vanga comes just like Facebook ads. They actually have a learning phase for the first upsells, so the app is going to continuously learn and get better and better for every single day. The app is also built for Shopify payments, PayPal, Stripe, and all the basic payment providers or checkout options. So go to the Shopify store and search Vanga All Upsell Assistant. It's a really good app. Maximize revenue with auto plus manual upsells and downsells. Sell more products to paying customers. Grow your order size with automatic upsells. You really just got to get on their website and read through this whole description because it's definitely worth it. I've actually teamed up with Vanga since it's my favorite upsell app. So if you use my code Henrik when starting Vanga, you'll actually get $2,000 for free worth of upsells. So you just got to get over there and use my code Henrik. If you're scaling your dropshipping business right now, you have to be on Vanga. This is a genuine recommendation. So this is the last phase of scaling. At this point, it becomes super easy and your whole life has changed. In this phase, you'll be able to scale to the extreme while doing the bare minimum. At this phase of scaling, you have so much data that Facebook literally does everything for you. They know your customer perfectly and you don't even have to target. In this phase, you want to do no interest, no custom audience, no lookalike audience. Just leave everything broad and let Facebook's algorithm optimize everything for you. Because when you made thousands of sales, Facebook is going to know exactly where to target way better than you're going to know yourself. So the only thing you're really going to choose yourself is the countries you target, the budgeting, and obviously the creative / video ads or photos. But this is a stage where everything gets really powerful because you don't really have to do anything. Facebook knows exactly where to target, and you can now use the email list or pixel you have inside of this niche. Say you're, for example, selling a skincare product. You can now take your data, and if the product dies out, you can go ahead and use your pixel or lookalike audience to run another skincare product. So once you find your first winning product, you will never lose anymore because you'll just use your data to find the next winning product. So if you're able to get into the extreme phase of scaling where Facebook does everything for you, you'll literally be set for life. All right, so that is my updated 2022 Facebook ad tutorial for dropshipping. Now all you have to do is to keep scaling your product using my strategies. If you have a winning product, or if you're still in the testing phase, you can use my testing strategy to find a new winning product. And once you hit a winner, you can come back and revisit this video to scale your store to the next level. I hope you found this video helpful. I really put my whole soul into this to teach you my exact Facebook ad strategy from A to C, teaching you everything you need to know. And I'm pretty sure that a guru would charge like $2,000 or $5,000 for this information. But you know me, I'm trying to be the most valuable YouTuber right now to teach you all of this information for completely free. So I hope that you click a like on this video and subscribe to my channel, and also check out the links in the description. Write me on Instagram if you have any questions about dropshipping in general, and let me know in the comments. And if you watch until the end, comment camera in the description just so I know that you watched until the end. I really appreciate you. I hope that you crush it with your dropshipping store. I'm Henrik, and I'm posting dropshipping videos every single week. So hopefully click a like on this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.